turn yourself into your favorite characters. Who do you want to be today? This is DIY Cosplay Shop.
What's up everybody, my name is Elizabeth Rage and today we're going to be making Marvel's Elektra. Now I'm not talking Jennifer Garner, I'm not talking Netflix, I'm talking old school comics Elektra. Dang. So in case you've never heard of her, Elektra is the daughter of a Greek diplomat turned ninja assassin. She's super badass, had an on-again, off-again relationship with Matt Murdock, also known as Daredevil, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, let's take a look at her costume. Elektra's got a lot of red going on, it's super form-fitting. She has this really cool headscarf, long brown hair, a one-shoulder, I guess that's like probably a leotard, I'd say. There's probably something going on under there. And a skirt that goes over it. She has arm wraps and leg wraps, and we can't see it in this photo, but she also has these really killer boots that go up to here. I think you guys are really gonna like this build. It has boobs, it has weapons. This is what you guys have been telling me you wanna see more of, so here it is. Elektra. Elektra Nachos, oh yeah. Nachos, I know, it just sounds like nachos. I know what her actual last name is. So let's talk about fabric. I'm super excited for this because I didn't have to buy anything for this build, which really, really helps financially. Some was left over from Robin, some was just stuff I had in my closet. So let's take a look. I considered using some of this stretch leather, the same thing that we used for Raven over here, but in red, but I think it's just a little bit too bright and a little bit too shiny for this character, although I might do some arm wraps out of it, so we'll save some of this for later. This was an option that we considered for using for Robin's shirt, but didn't end up using it, so now I have the perfect amount to do Elektra, because she didn't wear that much fabric, but this 1.5 yards right here is definitely enough to do her entire costume. So super pumped about this, no money spent on this build, which super helps out financially. Really cheap and easy way to have a really awesome Halloween costume as well. So let's get to cutting. All right, so this is the front piece. I just traced out a pattern that I thought would be right. The same thing's gonna work for the back, and Elektra's top goes over her left shoulder. Also, be sure to save all of your scraps from this build because we're gonna be using them for arm and leg bands later. And with that, I am almost done. I decided to use my serger because it sews really, really quickly, and also since this is stretch fabric, all of my seams still have a little bit of elasticity to them. If you don't have a serger, totally fine. You can use a zigzag stitch on a home machine. It'll have the exact same effect. I highly recommend using stretch fabric for this build. If you're using two-way stretch fabric, make sure your most amount of stretch is going horizontally so that it can fit all your lovelies in. But if you're using four-way stretch like this, it doesn't really matter. It's gonna stretch in any direction. And with that, I am almost done. This is a really quick build. Like, this is one that's actually only gonna take a day. So, awesome one-day cosplay. So now I'm just gonna try it on and tailor it in from there. So first test fitting, and I'm really digging it. I do want to take it in just a little bit on the side because it is bunching up a little bit here. And since it is stretch fabric, it can be super tight, so that's gonna be awesome. And adding paneling in the front always makes it look a lot more slimming, so that's always good. So now all there is left is to take it off, sew it again, and try it back on. All right, and now that that's done, I'm officially done with the top section. I think these seams added just the right touch. I also noticed that in the reference image I was using, she also had seams. So now I'm more screen accurate, or book accurate, or comic. It looks better. I just really like how the seams come in on the side, and I think it's a lot more slimming now too, hopefully, maybe. Be nice to me, internet. I try really hard for you. Now that we're done with the top, let's move on to the sash. So for the sash, I just took a long strip of fabric and had the ends meet in the middle and serged them together. I actually wanted it to show through on this side so that it looked a little more puckered and more like a sash. Once I found a length that was right for my hips, I just sewed it together and then took the extra piece and sewed another loop and slid that on right over the seam. This way it covers it in the back and it makes a little bow. So right now I'm making the skirts, and for this all I did was cut out 2 more rectangles that went down to a length that I thought would look good. Depending on the photo that you're looking at, Elektra's skirts goes either right above her knee or right below her knee. I picked something right in the middle. It'll probably end around my knees somewhere. And either way, I can just cut it off to be whatever length I want. So for the top of this, I'm just gonna do a simple running stitch along the top to gather it and give it a nice natural pleat. Now I'm just gonna finish off the edge of where I just pleated it, just so everything stays together and it'll be easier to attach to my sash. Then just line up your fabric to the center and sew it up using the seam from your sash. Before I do the back piece, I'm just gonna use my cover piece and sew that down to my seam before I do the exact same thing for the back. So now that the top and bottom are both finished, it's time to move on to the accessories. This is just making the most of any of the fabric that you have left. So for Elektra's hat, all I did was cut out a triangle that seemed to fit over my head and 2 long scrap pieces. These don't have to be even at all. These are the 2 wispy long pieces that flow in the wind with her hair. Et voilà, c'est tout. Next up on the list, shoes. Now, Elektra doesn't always wear heels, but personally I think that heels make your legs look nicer, so I included them in my costume. To make this pattern, it's really easy. All you have to do is take some fabric and place it on your leg and stretch it out so that it just meets at the side and just enough seam allowance to sew it. Then just leave a little room for the heel and sew it all the way up the back. If you're wondering why these shoes look disgusting, it's because they were from our Silent Hill video. But I can also get these same shoes in red, so I'll be using those for this costume. This is just a good test shape. And now that the shoes are done, the only thing we have left is to make the arm and leg bands. Now for these, it's really simple. Just start cutting out rectangles and wrapping them around your body. You can do it as one long piece, or you can sew them together to make shorter pieces. If you don't sew them, they'll look a little more ragged, which could also be a really awesome look. So just start wrapping. Spit mad bars, yo. Kill it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had so much fun making this costume, except my size kind of really suck. So I think there must be somebody who makes swords or something, and I think they should maybe make me a pair of real size. You can follow me on Instagram to see more of this costume and a bunch of others. Also, tell us what you want to see in future builds. I read all y'all's comments, so I'm listening. Until next time, my name's Elizabeth Rage, and now you can cosplay, and I'm getting nachos. See ya.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Hit that like button if you want to see more and tell me what to build next. Crossovers, mashups, we'll do it all. And don't forget to subscribe.